So, hi.
Hello, how are you?
As usual, it's been a great day.
Uh-huh,
How is your
uh-huh.
day?
It's been awesome.
What's the weather
Excited.
like there?
Uh, Cloudy but hot. Yeah, humid actually, I would say.
Okay. So here, I think the current temperature is around 34, 35, 36 degrees Celsius in India, and not in India. In different parts it's different. So it varies depending on the geographical area. So here in Kerala, it's I think it's 34, 35. Yeah, that's the situation.
I see. Because yeah, it's just I can hear the storm is like echoing from a distance, you know. Yeah, so it might have some thunderstorms. I don't know. Possibilities are high though.
Wow. Yeah, love rain.
Yeah. So basically I want you to take me through to the CIA, the
Wow.
conscious
Yeah, see,
information
conscious
analysis.
information analysis.
Yeah, so what is this conscious information analysis thing that you love to talk about basically?
Indeed, I love to talk about it because, when I actually developed the method conscious information analysis, it was a revelation for me. Was a map toward a completely different future. Because until then, I thought that it's difficult to rewrite our destiny. But once I actually developed the method conscious information analysis, that reality of, you know, changing the future, rewriting the future, it came true. Until then, it was just, something that I just wished, it, I wish I could change everything. So it was just a wish. But then, I realized that I could even, I could bring that change. I could bring that wish into reality. So let me come back to your question. What is it? What is conscious information analysis?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming conscious. In simple words, it's being aware. It's seeing the things exactly as it is instead of in a way what you want to see. We
Mm,
are, when we look around, we see things, but we see only the things that we wanted to see, and we ignore the other parts that we don't want to pay our attention to. And often our communications are, a way of exchanging words, but mostly it consists of what I want to say instead of where I want to pay attention to. So,
mm,
we grow, we grow in a society where we want this constant attention and recognition from people. So, what we do is we try to do everything to get other people's attention, to get other people's recognition. And most of the times when we are communicating, talking each other, our communication depends on the very this principle. How do I capture his attention? How do I take his recognition? How do I get noticed? How do I get approved? And
mm.
so that, when we read information, we never read what the other person needs, what the other person wants. We never try to understand what, what is it that the other person, the listener, wants to achieve through this communication. What is his purpose? We never want to look at it. We never try to. Because for us, for many of us, because of the world that we are in. For many of us, the very purpose of our communication is to get what we want to get, not to give what other people needs to give, not to just tell or communicate what other people wants to hear. So that we misjudge the situation, we respond in a way that we think is necessary. So what is the problem with that? The problem is, when you communicate each other, when you communicate with your spouse, if your communication is entirely solemnly depends on what you want to get instead of what she needs, the problem is the communication is not complete. It's not complete. It's just only the half of the way. And if that happens, that leads to conflict, chaos, confusion, problem. So conscious information analysis actually helps us to communicate effectively, to change our behavior effectively, to have, whether it's communication between two persons or communication between ourselves. So conscious information analysis actually helps the person to make the communication more better, more understanding, in a way that helps to fulfill the needs of the listener as well as the speaker.
Beautiful. I'm sitting here, I'm just thinking, conscious information analysis is something indeed that every one of us needs. But I hear you also talking about rewriting our past. How can we go about rewriting or undoing the wrongs of the past through conscious information analysis?
Of course, you cannot change your past. Whatever happened, happened. It happened. But what you can do is you can rewrite your future, your destiny, the path that you're leading. But most of us, when we take a path, when we travel, when we take a journey, when we take a new course into the future, when we start a new career, a new job, or a new business, what we do is we plan the future based on our past. So, our past is just a memory that helps us to define our future. So we predict the future based on our past experiences, right?
Exactly.
So the problem is, if the past experiences, if they are, more failures, if there are more failures and negative experiences, what happens is we most likely to avoid all those negative experiences and the failures that happened before us, because those failures, they often put us in painful situations, troublesome moments, or they give us pain. So we tend not to repeat. Our brain says, no, never go that way. So we create a path to the future. So based on what? Based on the experience of the past. So not everyone has the right experiences. Not everyone has the ability to map out the future, the best future to that destination. Because, it completely depends upon what you experienced, what you have acquired throughout your life. Now, if you have not enough information, you cannot set the right destination, the right path. So actually, with the conscious information analysis or conscious information analysis, otherwise, in simple words, you can call it just being mindfulness, being aware. So when you're using this conscious information analysis, you are analyzing, you are reading, you're understanding your past experiences, past information. So you're, just analyzing, calculating it, and asking yourself, using your logical brain, conscious brain, to think, to go through it, to, reconsider all the possibilities to find a future map. So based on that, we cannot change the past, but we can slightly change how we use the past experience to define our future. We can define our response based on the past experiences to create the exact life that we want to create in the future.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you when you say that if our experiences have been of failure more than anything else, we are more likely to want to avoid the failure again, because maybe of the pain that maybe a person has been through, emotional pain and things like that. So with CIA, how can we encourage people to face their fears and go through and heal through their sufferings and heal through their pain?
That's a wonderful question. Something that's need to be, need to be asked. So, of course, we all go through painful situations, and one thing that I do when I go through a painful situation is I ask myself, how do I use the past experience to define my future? Now, I can use it in two different ways. I can use that past experience to avoid certain things happening, or I can use that past experience to, to discover something better, to discover something more. Now, imagine I start a business and, I fail in it. So I have two opportunities there. I can use that experience as an example and never start a business, right? So that's a learning, that's a lesson. Never start a business because it's not really good. And most of us take such kinds of lessons when we go through life. We have a negative experience and we decide never to do that again. We stand in front of public and speak, and it becomes a failure. We never approach the public or the stage again. So instead of, you have the second approach, you have a second possibility, which is instead of running away from it, instead of using it as a warning signal, you can use it as a learning, a learning platform. So what are the things I learned from that business, and where did I really fail, and how would I use that experience to define my future? Now that's conscious information analysis. What I am doing is I am consciously analyzing the information, which is the past experience or negative experience, and I'm using it to clear out the path for the future. I'm not driven by fear. I'm not driven by that painful experience. Instead, I'm just simply acknowledging something happened, and I'm simply acknowledging myself. Okay, where have I fallen out? Where did I go wrong? How could I use that information to change my future? So here, in the second possibility, you are exploring more future possibilities with that experience. So in that way, that past experience is no longer a painful experience, but it is the very stepping stone for the future goals. And that is exactly what conscious information analysis is all about. If you have a painful experience, or a negative outcome from from something that you have done in your life, just ask yourself, how can I use this information, use this particular experience to rewrite my future, to change how I live my future? And that is all about conscious information analysis.
I like what you said when you said before, we really can't we can't undo the past. But I also believe that as you are saying just now, through how we act on the now, the decisions that we make can be able to change and shape our future. As a result, it can undo the mistakes of the past, in as much as the the past is a part of us and is permanent, but it can be undone, you know. Um, I like the part whereby you're talking about communication, and you say being conscious, you being mindful of your environment and your surroundings and people around you. So if I use CIA methods, how would my communicative ability improve?
Wow, that's very indeed something, very important question. So how do I use it to improve my communication? Um, you know, I just would love you to go through your communication that happened in your past. Maybe it's between you and your spouse. Maybe it's between you and your colleague or someone that you love. And rewind that situation. Maybe there has been a quarrel recently, has been an argument, or just a conversation. Now, I would love to ask you this question: Is that conversation a success or a failure, or in between? Something an average just conversation that doesn't give you any particular memories. Does that conversation leave you with any impactful memories, something that you can remember forever? I just would love to ask you this. For most people, when we communicate, we don't leave such a memory. It's because when we communicate, we are not often aware of how we communicate, how we choose our words, and how we respond to the needs of others. We are not consciously aware because most of the times we are driven by our unconscious bias, unconscious judgments, and unconscious fears and belief and other stuff. And if our behavior, communication is driven by unconscious judgments or bias, the problem is we often miscommunicate. We often respond in an unhealthy way, or in a way that we think is right, instead of responding to the needs. So let me take an example. So imagine you're having this conversation between you and your girlfriend. And, so I just want you to, just give a rate to the conversation that you have had in the last week. Can you rate it? Can you just give me a rating?
Well, I mean, that's out of what? Out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10.
I'd say pretty much a 5 or a 6.
Okay, 5 or 6.
I'm
Now,
just gonna make it average.
okay, so I just want you to go through the conversation again. What was she saying? What was her question? Or what was she asked? So what was that beginning of the conversation? And what exactly she needs? Now, I wanted to just, okay, so I want you to just use these 3 different methods. Number 1, I want you to just imagine her body language, how she is. Is she tired, worried, confused, sad? Just imagine. And then her words, choose the words. Okay, how she asked you or responded to your questions. And then just think about recall your response to that information. Now I want you to ask this. I just would love to ask this question, and I just need a genuine answer. Okay, because to be frank, we are not perfect. not me, not you. I just do the same thing most of the time, sometimes, right? Although I just discovered this method, sometimes I do this. I'm still learning, practicing. So I want you to, so right now, do you think you responded to her needs, or just you responded casually, or you replied to her question, just, some answer, instead of really, genuinely responding to that need?
Well, in most cases, it's responding to the needs, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, even though some of the things, it's like I'm in a process of learning how to exercise those things correctly, you know, so that I can fully meet our desired needs. You
Okay.
understand?
So okay. So just imagine. Okay. So fine. That's great. So here you are. Sitting there, and there your girlfriend is sitting next to you, and she's responding. But most people, in your case, you said most of the times you respond to the needs, but you didn't say that whether you responded to the needs in the last conversation. But let's guess it. Let's guess. You just had a nice conversation, but the problem is most people, when they respond to their to their listeners, maybe it's relatives or spouses or family members, when they respond, they replay to their answer, to their questions, instead of responding to the need. Now, respond means being responsible to that needs of that person. It's that being responsible. So am I being responsible to that needs of that person? He's communicating to me that I need something, I need your support. And maybe I need your support, I need your physical presence, I need your words, I need your mental support, I need your physical support, I need some money, I need some time. So there may be lots of occasions where, our listeners are talking to us through their body language, through the words, and through their questions or silences sometimes. And most of the times we ignore the needs, and we just simply reply, another time, maybe, yeah, I think so. So these are the casual answers we respond with. Now tell me, how can we, get a memorable experience from this casual conversation? Now imagine just the same conversation you're having with your spouse, but instead of just replying to her questions or queries or information, you decided to respond responsibly to the needs of that person. So you acknowledge that person's feeling. You acknowledge her physical needs. You acknowledge her mental needs. And you look into her eyes and say, okay, I'm here. You say, tell me. That support is enough. That's real communication, because communication is happening there. And now imagine, so I just come back to your question. So now imagine if we can replace our communications with a conscious information analysis, what would be the impact?
This is very exciting to hear and just to learn basically from you, because I'm just thinking so many of us go through this point whereby when we are triggered by something, basically we respond on auto response out of emotions. Most of us don't become mindful using the conscious information analysis method of leaving a space to choose how do we respond. We rush to respond, but unconsciously, and that is the time we actually make a whole lot of damage within our relationships, be it a partner, family, or your child or whatever. But most importantly is that when we respond based on the trigger and not leave the space to decide how we want to respond. Because I believe no matter what the situation is, you can leave a space to exercise being conscious. you see. And you're touching based on very important things here, because I believe that if we can exercise the CIA method, which is conscious information
Yes,
analysis,
indeed.
we would be able to solve and resolve a lot of our global issues centered around relationships, communication,
Yes,
and
of
so
course, indeed. So I was thinking, one thing that I wanted to do with this is, I was thinking and I was wondering what would happen if we teach our kids conscious information analysis. What would happen? Our kids, learned to respond to the needs
correctly.
of their listeners instead of or speakers, instead of just replying to some customized words, right? So we do have lots of customized words now available out there. When we so most of, especially in a business is actually has become such a way. Everything we get, we can buy customized messages, customized letters, customized templates, and we just simply send these without making a real impactful conversation. And what would happen, so the business has already become such a customized business model where we fail to respond to the needs of the person. So I think a few days ago I received uh, you know uh, a, a message from a famous coaching industry. So one of the I think one of the employee from that company approached me and so tested me some informations regarding their company and how they actually help the people. And later that day, I received another message. And later that day, I received another message. And the three message are from the employees of the same company, and they gave me the same message. There is no, a personal approach, just some customized message that's written by some guy who was actually dealing with the communication. So there is not talking, there is no real communication, there is no meeting the needs of the person. So it's like it's like that. We cannot create an impact as long as we respond to the needs. And I think conscious information analysis is all about responding to the needs, fulfilling the needs, whether it's communication or behavior.
Wow, Sachin, I'd like to thank you for your time, for the episode that we just had today. It was really informative. I'm sure our listeners have learned a lot, and they must not forget to subscribe on our channel to get more similar kind of videos that will help them, take them through their personal journey as well to discover themselves. Thank you so much, Sachin.